Hey Marvel Strike Force fans, it is your friend the Fasting Comic Guy here, and today is going to be a video on the basically two games. I'm going to tell you why DC Legends is a worse game than Marvel Strike Force. They are both very similar, I feel. Basically, you have superheroes and heroes for both games. You create a team of 4, and except in Marvel Strike Force you're creating a team of 5, while in DC Legends you're making a team of 4. And yeah, each character has their pros and cons, and that's about, and you basically just go after another team of similar things. But I'm playing DC Legends longer actually than Marvel Strike Force, and I like Marvel Strike Force immensely more. So much more. The reason why I don't like DC Legends, and the reason why I still keep playing DC Legends, is because when I first got into the game DC Legends, I spent a lot of money on it. That's where I kind of figured out, I have myself an addiction, like a kind of a problem, basically, like an addiction. So like I spent a few $1,000s on it. I was like, well, I spent this much money on it. So I do have some actual gameplay footage of DC Legends, so I will be including that here. So over here we basically have, it's the PvP. That's the bad thing about it. It's really bad, the PvP. So in the PvP, basically you choose your team, and this is for me. So this is actually a pretty good team that I have here. Lex Luthor and stuff like that. And when I go to start the battle, the load screens are a little bit quicker. But this is basically what happens. As soon as I start to fight, I don't get to do anything. I just sit there and watch the other team destroy everything. The time I went before this one, actually, before I recorded this footage, everyone died before I could even go once. Now, I understand these are all, and this isn't just with just this specific setup. Like, this has been happening to me for years. And it is the most frustrating thing ever, and that's why I hate the game, is because the PvP basically cheats. You don't get to do anything. Like, you just sit there and go, oh, okay, that's awesome. And I noticed, and it's not even, they don't even do, personally, I don't think they do the ranking system properly. The way they do the difficulty in PvP isn't based on like your skill level. It's based on your team, your 4 best characters, basically. So if you're a brand new player in the game, what I did when I first started the game was I picked my 4 favorite characters, and they didn't have that many. It was basically like Batman and stuff like that. And as you saw there, I didn't stand a chance against this team, and yeah, it didn't make any, I couldn't do anything. I basically sat there and the other team just went over and over again. I understand they're all Flash characters, but this actually happens more often with any other setup in the game. Like, it could be Batman characters, it could be like Wonder Woman characters, it could be Superman characters. They will just be going nuts over and over again before I even get to do one turn at all. And another thing that is bad about it, actually, this game, is they got the red alert system. And again, it is based after your 4 highest characters. So the reason why I say that's bad is because, like I said, when I was brand new to the game, I was spending a lot of money, and I wanted to power level my favorite 4 characters. And yeah, it was like, they weren't even my favorite characters. Like, I powered Batman, I powered up Deadshot, which wasn't really, but he had a good leader ability, and I had a lot of stars on him. So when I did that, basically the difficulty got worse and worse the higher my team power got, and that made everything really unbalanced, because there's a lot more characters in the game than just 4 characters. So when I went to do the red alerts here, for example, they weren't, like, at the very beginning, they were easy. I was able to do them, clear them from start to finish, and that was awesome. And then once I got my 4 characters up to like max level, and everyone else was down at level 1, while everyone was at level 70 or higher, and the difficulty got it was set for those 4 characters. So basically those 4 characters would die, and then I'd be stuck on stage 1 in this red alert, and there's like 10 stages for red alert. So that's the bad thing about it. It's not based on like your all your entire roster. An average is based on the 4 highest characters that you have, and they will make the difficulty insanely difficult. And the same thing goes for the PvP. It is not set for your like where you're at in the PvP. So it's like, all right, I have like a ranking of like 900. I'm at rank 950, and you want to get higher and higher ranking. So basically, I'm stuck at like 900, and I have friends that have like much lower powered characters than me. Like their highest team is maybe 20,000 power, while my highest team is like 34,000. Well, they're all the way up at like rank 1,500, and I'm stuck at 900 because all the people that I'm going against are all for some reason, none of these people I bet you actually have this power. If it's an actual account on the game, I bet you none of them have the actual power that I'm going against. They just have, and you can't even set a defense team for your PvP. I think the way they have it set up is your defense team is basically the last PvP team that you used. So if someone sees you, it's the last team that you used on offense. And, obviously that doesn't really make a lot of sense because some characters work better on defense than they do on offense, right? So you can't even set, like in Marvel Strike Force for your arena, you can choose which team you want to have on your defense, and then you can choose what team you want on your offense. That would work so much better if they just incorporated that small thing into DC Legends. But no, they haven't done that in the years that the game has been out. So, like I said, here I'm at like 955, that's my rank. I'm going against people, and if we scroll a little bit more forward, because I did manage to, I got lucky. It seemed like as soon as I started recording this, these things here on the side started actually giving me realistic numbers to go against. But then once I did it, as you can see here, 30, 30, 30, 30, I got 120 here, but everyone else is in the high 30s. And again, at least half the time when I go to fight against anybody that's in their mid 30s, the same thing that you saw before, where I just start the fight and my entire team is dead before I even get to go do anything at all. That takes the fun out of the game completely. It's some kind of like it's obviously RNG, because a lot of the stuff is chance, where it's like 70% chance that this character will do this and that type of thing. So some of it is RNG, but yeah, basically I have friends in the game that are, their highest team power is 20, so they're up all the way up to rank 1,500 because they're going against teams that are also at 20k, all of them. Like the highest one they go against is maybe 21,000. Well, when they're going against a team that's at 21,000, they're not going to be getting all that weird random, like when they start the fight, they're not going to have that other team completely decimate them at the very, very beginning because they're all maxed out. So that's what makes DC Legends a lot worse, like really, really horrible. Like here, when we go to Marvel Strike Force. So when you're doing a blitz in Marvel Strike Force, you progress in your blitz for difficulty. You're not going against, it's not based on your specific power. So when there's a brand new blitz, you're at tier 1 and you just progress all the way up to tier 8 point, whatever that is, 0.75, I guess I would call that. And, if you lose, you go down to 8. And if you keep losing, it gets progressively easier and easier. And then if you keep winning, it gets progressively harder and harder. And then it stops at some point and you don't have to worry about it. So that's what makes Marvel Strike Force a lot better for the PvP, is that basically you don't have to, you're not going against the wrong odds type of thing. Like basically, if I'm actually 900 ranking in DC Legends, I think is actually quite bad. And for the power level that I have on my account on that game, I should be way, way higher than that. But because my characters are so much overpowered, and I don't have like every single brand new character under the sun leveled up to max level, I can't beat most of these teams. And like I said, when you get to a certain point, you can't actually do anything. Like you just start the fight and it just destroys you. They just go over and over again till all your characters are dead. And you're just like, well, that was a waste of time. And so basically, that's what I don't like about it. And the game is kind of repetitive. Like it's kind of boring. Like you don't really do, like in Marvel Strike Force, you know, you got blitzing that you can do over and over again. You got your arena that you can do over again, and you got your campaigns that you got your daily. So it's kind of like, well, and then you got your war. Like the thing that I like about Marvel Strike Force is that there's a lot more involved in it. So you got wars here. You can do that on your spare time. You got raids here that you can do every day if you're in a good alliance. You got your Dark Dimensions, which is something that you work towards. You got the new real-time arena. And so you got your blitz, you got your regular arena, you got your challenges that you try to get to the best challenge to get them done out of the way. So, and then they have events like, legendary events and stuff like that come up all the time. But in DC Legends, it's been the same campaign for 2 years. Like they haven't added to it since the game came out, I don't think. They did like about a year ago, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, they added a raid, which comes out like maybe once a month. And they have a lot of glitches. At least on my phone, it has a lot of glitches. Basically, as soon as there's a raid out, I'm stuck in load screens all the time. And a lot of times it says, sorry, there's been an error. And it will reload the entire game all over again. So, so that's really, really inconsistent in the game. And again, the prices in the game are compared to Marvel Strike Force. Like I've spent a lot more money on Marvel Strike Force than I have on DC Legends. Like a lot more money on Marvel Strike Force. But if I was, say, a hardcore player in DC Legends as I was in Marvel Strike Force, I probably would have been spending the same amount of money. The interesting thing, I think the reason why I spent a lot more money on Marvel Strike Force also is that there's still continuously a lot more to do in the game. Like they introduced new characters in both games about the same amount. Seems like they have like 2 new characters every month or so. And DC Legends, while in Marvel Strike Force there's like 4. And so all there is to do in DC Legends is you join an alliance, you get, and in your alliance, you want to get points to be the top alliance basically. And every day your alliance is given a task. So it's like 2 days you have to PvP with 5 characters in the game. Basically it's like this character gives you 5 points, these 2 characters give you 2 points, and these 2 characters give you 1 point. If you are able to PvP with 4 of these characters, you get a maximum of 10 points. The more points that you accumulate, the more currency you get for your alliance, and then you can buy character shards with the more currency you get. And then so it's like 2 days in a row, it's like PvP, then it goes into heroics, where basically you just sit there and do the old campaigns from like rank, like level 1, and you just do those over and over again with the exact same thing. There's 5 random characters, and usually the character that has 5 points is a keystone character, like the brand new one. So right now it's the Undead Flash character, and he's worth 5 points. So as long as you do the campaign with him in there, and you can't auto it, you have to sit there and just do the entire thing, and then you get 5 points for that one character. So heroics are like the easiest. It's kind of just time consuming. You just sit there, start the fight, and then just let your characters do their thing, and then just keep doing that over and over again until you're out of energy, and you should get like your maximum energy used up in that. And So that's basically all there is to do in the game. You just PvP for your alliance, and then you do campaigns for your alliance. Like, it's pretty boring. Like, I guess that's another reason why I kind of stopped spending money in it, is because, one, I don't have that much money, but mainly I'm tired. Like, the PvP in that game really pisses me off, and I hate the fact that because I spent a lot of money at the very beginning to power up a couple of characters, it penalized me. They're like I said, I couldn't do those red alerts because they were saying, it said on there, oh, you have, it's like the game thinks because you have 4 maxed out characters, all your characters are maxed out. So it's going to make it extremely difficult. Well, when I did the red alerts, I do the first challenge in it, and then like one of my characters would die, then I maybe get to the second one, but you know, when you go to the second one, it's like, well, one of your really good characters is dead. I gotta swap that one out for like a really crappy level 1 character. Well, guess what? You start the fight with that crappy level 1 character, they're going to be dead instantly with the first random AoE. And then another one of your characters, or probably 2 of your characters, died because like your healer died or something like that. So yeah, it's not a good setup that they make the challenge based on your 4 highest characters. Not even a 4, it's probably just your 1 highest character. They think if you have one character that's at like 30, that's at level 70 or 80, I think it's level 80 is the highest level in there, and they got their power up to like 10,000 or something like that, they think that they're going to be able to do all that stuff. Well, no, they can't. So that's what makes the game, it's really unenjoyable, and most of the time I'm just sitting there talking to my buddy Johnny. I'm just like, hey Johnny, you know what I hate about DC Legends? He's like, what? It cheats all the damn time. That's all it does, is it just cheats over and over again, and basically and all there is to do is this fake AI PvP, because you're not PvPing against another person. Like, it's their account, it's probably the 4 characters that they used last, and it's not even their power that they have. I bet you all, like I said, all these people that I go against, I bet you that's not actually their team power in there. It's just random characters that they have, and they just, because I have some characters that are higher power level, it will just take their characters, it will toss all these abilities on them, and it will just make it so as soon as I start to fight, I lose automatically. So yeah, that's why DC Legends, because the game, they didn't design it properly like they did in Marvel Strike Force. I bet you people that were playing Marvel Strike Force played DC Legends, and they were like, okay, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, why don't we make a better game, and we'll change all the stuff that sucks in that game and make it awesome in this game. So yeah, that's why DC Legends is the inferior game to Marvel Strike Force. Hope you enjoyed this movie, and thank you for watching. Well, it's not really a movie, it's just a rant about why I don't like DC Legends as much as Marvel Strike Force. And yes, I have played the game for probably over 2 years, DC Legends. I still do play it because I like the alliance I'm in, the people in there are really cool. So yeah, anyways, hope you enjoyed that movie. I'll talk to you again soon. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate every view I get. Please leave a like below. If you liked what you saw today, please hit the subscribe button on the left and check out one of my other videos on the right. And remember, keep it comics.